Summertime theater is heating up across the capital region, so in this episode of Behind the Curtain, we will be your guide to the different theatrical experiences you can take advantage of these next couple of months. Starting in Albany County, at Gaho's Music Hall, you can witness Willy Wonka's classic tale in a captivating new musical adaptation featuring the songs you remember and love. Playhouse Stage Company presents Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the musical. Your golden ticket to magic, mayhem, and moral consequences runs until July 18th, with matinee and evening tickets still available. 10 days later, the company is opening a run of Footloose through August 15th. In a town where dancing is outlawed, electrifying 80s anthems like Let's Hear It for the Boy remind us some rules are made to be broken. For the youngest audiences, a fun outdoor show on the Washington Park stage rounds out the company's summer season. Elephant and Piggy's We Are in a Play runs for 2 weeks from August 16th through the 28th. All seats are free, no tickets required. At Capitol Repertory Theater in Albany's Arbor Hill, you can enjoy a slice of nostalgia with Mystic Pizza. The new musical, based on the Julia Roberts movie of the same title, features a treasure trove of 80s hits from pop icons like Cyndi Lauper, Van Morrison, and more. You can dance the night away in Mystic, Connecticut at the Rep through August 9th. Taking things up the Northway to the Adirondacks, at Lake George Dinner Theater, the year is 1958 and it's prom night at Springfield High School. The Marvelous Wonderettes are 4 young women who are eagerly getting ready to sing their hearts out. This blast from the past promises to keep your toes tapping all night long. The show runs through September 5th at the Holiday Inn Resort on Canada Street for both lunch and dinner performances. In eastern Washington County at Fort Salem Theater, Jagged Little Pill takes the stage from July 17th through August 2nd. This regional premiere is inspired by Alanis Morissette's iconic Grammy-winning album and tells the story of a family navigating struggles of identity, addiction, and trauma beneath their picture-perfect suburban life. The emotional story is told through familiar hits, including You Oughta Know and Ironic. We'll be right back with more opportunities for a summer night at the theater after a short break. Welcome back to Behind the Curtain. In a house of secrets, a young girl unlocks the door to forgiveness, love, and new beginnings. An enchanting piece of children's literature comes to life on stage in Chatham at McCaden Theater. The Secret Garden runs through July 19th. Next on the docket at McCaden is Disney's Newsies, the Disney film turned Broadway hit set in turn-of-the-century New York City with energetic dance numbers and the now classic songs Santa Fe and Seize the Day. You can see it July 23rd through August 9th. This weekend in the Spa City, a 2-day run of Rock of Ages Teen Edition takes the stage at Saratoga Children's Theater. You can see the show Friday and Saturday at 7 p.m. and a matinee Saturday at 1 p.m. For one night only at the Glove Theater in Gloversville, students in the Glove Arts Theater program will showcase their talents and hard work on stage. Glove Arts will present a 5, 6, 7, 8 classic Broadway on Friday, July 31st from 6 to 8 p.m. Valatia Community Theater presents Disney's Winnie the Pooh Kids, a joyful adventure full of imagination and friendship, July 24th through 26th at the historic theater on Main Street. It's perfect for audiences who are young or young at heart. We'll be right back with more opportunities for a summer night at the theater after the break. Welcome back to Behind the Curtain. Shakespeare lovers will have the opportunity this summer to experience two of his works, Much Ado About Nothing and Measure for Measure, as part of Will Kemp's Players 2026 summer repertory season. Both plays will be performed over the next couple of months in locations that mimic the kinds of venues the masses would have enjoyed Shakespeare's works during the Elizabethan era. Why don't you tell me a little bit about who Will Kemp is? I just learned he was a real guy, so I would love to know more. So whoever wants to take
absolutely.
that question.
This one's
Sandy,
mom. This is
Sandy,
mom.
let's have Sandy do it.
Will Kemp was an Elizabethan actor, a contemporary of Shakespeare's, and an owner of both the Globe and the Blackfriars, which are the two theaters that Shakespeare's company used. He was older than Shakespeare and was, when Shakespeare was a youngin' like Jack, he was a rock star of a performer. He was a professional clown. He not only acted, he sang, he did clowny things. He was known as a master wordsmith. He could get into a word duel with people in the audience that was totally impromptu. And he was a dancer and a bit of a musician. He wrote, we know he knew 3 languages. He wrote in 2 because he also wrote plays. And before Hamlet opened, he was gone from the company. No one really knows why. But the fun thing is, if you've ever heard in Hamlet, the player king say, "Let not your clowns speak more than is put down for them," we think that was about Will Kemp.
Wow. All right.
Maybe he was a bit of an improviser, and who knows how much Shakespeare enjoyed that.
Well, so why is he the inspiration for your group?
Well, when the bunch got together to first look at doing original practice of Shakespeare, going for the company composition and the working methods of Shakespeare's company, we, of course, were going to have a clown. And of all things, there were 3 people in the room who had, 2 of whom who had trained as clowns, and me, and I'm just funny. But who, and I said, why don't we take our inspiration from the clown in the company? And our first meeting was on April Fool's Day, so it sort of all went together.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I want people to know that the Capital Region has this vast array of different theatrical experiences to enjoy, which is why I started this show Behind the Curtain. So if you could, tell me a little bit about the hunger for Shakespeare in the Capital Region and why you have all decided to dedicate your theater company to bringing these works to life locally.
We chose to operate as a repertory company, wherein those of us who are members are equal owners of the company, because that allows us to all sort of buy in to this notion of this collective project that we're doing together. And another rewarding thing about that is that although we are member owners, those of us who are sort of members of this long-running repertory company, there's not enough of us to staff 2 Shakespeare shows a year. So we get the immense privilege of being able to audition and bring in other folks who maybe don't necessarily have the desire to be a member owner of a company with all of the responsibilities that that entails, but want to be a part of what we do and the way that we produce Shakespeare. Because it's really exciting and really invigorating to work with the text in the way that we do. And I think a lot of local actors, both inside and outside of the company, who are really passionate about his words and the way that he so expertly used them, are really excited and drawn to a space in which Shakespeare as a playwright is really given a lot of attention because of the fact that he wrote for actors. Like a lot of, I think sometimes this notion of Shakespeare gets distilled because of academia, and everyone sees it as this very highbrow thing that you like study in graduate level English, and that's the only way that you can really understand it. But that's the opposite of the truth. He didn't actually write his plays to be read in a book. He wrote them to be performed on stage by actors who were actively engaging with the audience and talking to them in a space where there was no dramatic lighting and everyone could see everyone else. So the way we choose to do Shakespeare reflects that as well. We have no fourth wall. We're performing outside in a park, or when we do perform inside, we leave the house lights on. And we have like a sort of general dramatic wash on the stage so everything can be seen, but it's this idea that we are inviting the audience in as this final ingredient that makes the show what it is. Because without the audience as that final participatory, engaged ingredient, it isn't Shakespeare being done as Shakespeare would have been experienced. Because Shakespeare, again, his actors performed for the masses and they allowed the masses to interact with what they were doing on stage and be that final piece of the puzzle that makes these stories really come to life. So I think for those on the acting side, there's a lot of hunger and excitement for doing Shakespeare with a lot of attention paid to what Shakespeare's writing affords the actor, which isn't necessarily often paid attention to just because people don't know. It really serves the idea of the piece and allows it to be this big picture look at humanity that Shakespeare was so gifted at writing, and asking the questions that he asks without necessarily posing clean resolutions, and allowing the audience to carry those questions forward is also a big part of what we do, and I think a big part of what makes it important.
Where aren't we?
Right.
As a touring company, we are kind of all over the place. Every weekend we're opening it.
Mm-hmm.
In every single location. This weekend, you can catch Much Ado About Nothing over at Prospect Park. And then as we move into July and August, you can also see us at Indian Ladder Farms, Maybe Farm at the very end of the season. I'm just rattling off a whole
We're
bunch of
hitting Shaker
places.
Heritage Site.
You've got a lot. I'm pulling up the summer tour dates on the screen right now as you talk about it, so everyone will be able to see all of the dates and locations for it. So, talk to me about these specific venues as it relates to the selection of the plays this summer.
As you can see from our list of venues, a lot of these are traditional spaces, but most of them are not. Most of them are not traditional art spaces, which is very much in line with how Shakespeare and Shakespeare's like traveling companies would have performed. I mean, you would have people performing in inns and taverns and bars, oh my, and then also like in the public square, and even in churches. So what that does for us is that really allows for us to kind of get to reblock a little bit, just a smidge, each show to match the venue. We always make sure that we have gallant stools. Most theater in the capital region is either, there are some immersive companies in the area, but there are primarily that proscenium arch. So it's almost like looking through a picture frame or looking through, as I'm gesturing right now, through the screen of a laptop or a television set. With Shakespeare and the way that we do it, we always do it in that three-quarter thrust style. So we have an audience right in front of us, and then we have gallant stools and as many other additional seats as we can add on the left and the right of the stage, which, because of the different spaces, allows for us to really experiment with all the different angles that we can see to see all those different arcs. It allows for us to kind of go around and in between audience members. It allows us to hide. There are a couple of moments in Much Ado About Nothing where we actually have actors moving in and using the audience to hide as they're trying to listen in and find out secrets about themselves. So that's one of the great wealths that we have as a company, is that every single venue provides us a new opening night.
That's awesome. And I also think, the audience being able to come and participate in this way also allows them to immerse themselves not just in the production that they're seeing, but also in the setting that they're in. What do you encourage audience members do when they come? Do you want them to dress in period appropriate attire? Is that welcome or encouraged?
I mean, if they wanted to, personally, I as co-costume designer, I would love that if people came in period attire. It is certainly not required. But I think, being ready to don't be afraid to sit up front or sit in the gallants. That's the thing that I laugh every single time, whether I'm in synagogue or doing sort of meeting for a nonprofit organization that I work with, or in the theater. No, everyone's always afraid of sitting in the front row.
What is that
I'm like,
about?
no, come on, get up front. Be ready to to play with us.
Mm-hmm.
Especially given the fact that these two shows are comedy and are so full of such excitement. So yeah, be ready to, I think, lean in and engage no matter. Yeah.
And I actually, a little bit of a word to the wise, there is something extra special in Much Ado About Nothing if you sit in the gallant stools.
Ooh, okay, all right. So those who are unafraid and really want that full experience. For the full list of tour dates and locations for Will Kemp's players, visit the group's website. Thanks for watching this episode of Behind the Curtain. If you have an idea for a story that highlights the local theater scene, email me, gbruno@news10.com.